Okay, we're going to do some rehearsing of the 1 hour chart. Euro dollar, spreads fixed at 2 pips. And going back 3 years, it doesn't matter. We're just kind of going to try to trade with a 10 pip entry window, which is this blue box. And what is the length of my orders? What's the expiration? So here I would say I'm going to buy all day in this slot here. It's 10 pip window. And I'm going to choose this low here as another place. Now, this is the thing that people kind of have to consider is if you're going to start buying in this stacking up against the other prices, you may want to lose this bank before you start buying here. So this is the money management part where, okay, how much is dedicated to that one trade plan or that iceberg of deep prices that nobody's interested in at the moment, and then there's a flash crash, but you're there to gobble it up. Just high and low prices. No, very little data here. Just looking to the left, it looks to me like there could be a problem if we go above here. Like there could be a psycho run, but this is also the place to sell. So if you're going to do pure limits where you have sell limits up here, buy limits down there, and you're just waiting for them to come into these territories and then retrace out. If the market starts to heat up really big, then look out, right? Because this may seem like, oh, this is very sideways, but something's going on in there, right? So they just broke out to the top side, and it's also, I would say on this chart, you could say, well, I'll put a buy stop up here because you're going to get trapped on some level. So the 8 pip guys are getting trapped, and the 20 pip guys are able to ride the storm out. If you've got enough of a window to cash out just because it spiked, so you're making money from the spike, sure, you could say in the long run it ended up here. Look at my target. I told you it was going there. I told you. So now we're breaking out. This is the first sell window. Here comes the scalpers. We pull it back to the breakout point, and you can see they got out. Now people may say, well, that's like the top. We just took out the high of 2 days ago. Here, more buyers. So we can't see on this chart how far back this vacuum goes, but there's feeding on something. So you don't have to look back more than 5 days, because if you were to sell every 10 pips now, you'd just be selling every 10 pips. Now this thing could just go skyrocketing now. Who knows what's going on? Here, people are starting to cash out a little bit on this pullback. And I could speed this up, and you can just get used to looking at these psycho runs where now, if you look left and you're going into 3-year highs here, I'd be very careful because you could just spike up so hard. So somebody just made 5 pips here, 8 pips. They sold up into that. Sell. And this guy, El Pari guy, this Lucas, this grinning guy, his attitude is anything can happen. So if you're relaxed about trading, I don't think it's that bad. But if you get your heart set on a certain setup, now here, breakout only, I have the line chart on top, the 1 period, just so I can see, oh, that's up, down, up, down, up, down. But this is probably even better because it's forcing you to realize there's volatility. This chart is all about the 1 hour volatility. So how can you tell the market's not volatile because it's a small bar? How can you tell it's volatile big bars? So if you're ever get lost about what's going on. Okay, so they're cashing out back into the breakout point. Now here comes the confirmation people that say, oh no, that's a real breakout. You don't understand. That's a real break. That's not fake news. That's a real breakout. Now they're jumping aboard the train, right? They're going to get in at the breakout point, the most, we're very serious traders here. They get in right now. So they just bought, right? The end of this hour, if we are down here, we are back to the breakout point, right? All this stuff where people have got Akinashis and you could have traded the breakout of this apex of that triangle. You could have taken your 10 pips and got the fuck out of there and said, oh, breakout trading works. So yeah, of course it does for the first blast, because the expansion of volatility, this is 7 hours of nothing, then pops up. Wow, really? I can't. Unbelievable. Yeah, because it dips into this giant void that we can't see to the left of on this chart. There's not enough data. The confirmation guys came at the end of the hour there. So they're like, oh, this is a real breakout. Now here's where the moment of truth is. Is this a real breakout? Because the scalpers that sell new highs all the way back to the breakout point and the confirmation guys, they've all pivoted there. And this goes on and on. You could play this back, and you can see that you could walk away from this right now and take your positions down here and say, I'm going to buy here, I'm going to buy here, and I don't want to hear about the rest of this bullshit at the top of that, because 2 days from now or a day from now, we could be all the way back to these prices, and these are going to be the greatest prices in the world. Or we just got our people sold here, and they're going to wait for this thing to take out this low, and then buyers come in here, and it's just this constant punishment for people that are trying to trade larger based breakouts. They're just getting raped. And who's talking about them? Right? Stop hunts matter. You know, if you got all your stops in here and they just, oh shit, I'm trying to protect my capital, I put some stops in. Okay, now here's the moment of truth. So that they're all the way back to that breakout point. Do you want to get in now? Or are you like, well, it was supposed to come back here, break out, and rock it up. I don't know. Now here comes, they're going to go stop hunt Asia. Right? I mean, they're going to come after, like, I want my buy limits down here. Now, I could be short from the top of that. That's going to be my target. I guarantee you, anybody that's still short, they're cashing out right here. People, some portion of your ticket needs to get out here, because this obviously where we could go to now, right? So we totally failed in a breakout sense. People are kind of second guessing that, or they're already out, right? They got that deep reward, and every time it closes down, it's a buy for me, and every time it closes up, it's a sell for me. So that whole cycle's complete. Are they going to come after this Asian low? They don't have to. Nothing has to happen. If you're going to think about in the future, we could be down here. There's nothing wrong with these prices down here. And so the longer this vacuum is now stacking up, we got this one, and coming back into more sells. So here I would be putting in the sells again, starting here and going up here to the sell levels. Too bad I can't zoom out, but this is all the data we have at the moment. So this is a kind of funny view here. All you have is the range. There's no other data. There's no candlesticks. You just see this highly involved battle in this 20 pip window, and then that wick is just, I mean, this is just the fastest money. The spread is probably a little wide here, but fastest money. But go to a fixed pip brokers data, and then you can see that, yeah, that trade. So now up again. Is this the breakout comeback confirmation? Is it kind of dip below? Kind of broke my rule. And then people got these rules that are like, well, half a pip off, I can't take that trade. I'm like, you're really going to wait that long to trade this shit? So here, this is the deepest snag here was right there. So you had to be buying that little 8 pip vacuum there, and then here's the candlesticks. So I got zoom this. You can start to see they got the candlesticks behind that. So I could turn that off. I could turn the candlesticks off here. So I can force it to be a bar chart like this. Still see the hash mark on there a little bit. But I do think volatility is the trick. Too bad I can't go to the 4-hour chart, but we don't really have to. So now the tension is building up here. Are we going to go higher? Is this a real breakout? U.S. markets open there. That was London open now. So we had that psychotic pop. And that was the chance to do the London fake out, right? I mean, kind of pulled back pretty ruthlessly off of that. So, okay, let me speed up the machine, the time machine. Okay, so I got patience for this. Another thing, if you can play out your trade plans pretty quickly here with the speed button, so it's almost top speed here. All right, so we're looking to buy these plunge zones, and these are becoming really intense because time's marching on and they haven't filled yet. Oh, jeez, no patience. I'm trying top speed here, so this will be like psycho speed. So there was a nice little retest of that for 10 pips. Now it's crazy. But that seems like it's just the market's just on a mission to crush people. Wow. So holding on to that U.S. market. Okay, sellers just scalped off the top of that. How many people have the balls to sell up here, though? That's the question. Just selling blindly into here without any more data on this chart. Okay, so I would sell up into that next 30 pips. Sure, okay, so the end of the day is coming. Asia. Okay, now I've got the buy limits in. We're looking for that sell-off into here now. So these scripts could have deleted themselves by now. Oh, somebody made some money at the top of that tippy top. They're short off the very edge of that. Okay, good work. So now they're coming to my buy limits here. So I got them really deep, extended down here. Okay, just kind of slightly long now. So I needed to have some scalp built into that. These 8 pip bounces. So even though it's slamming around there. Okay, so cashing out of something there. Coming back to the floor. New sellers coming in now. Okay, so if we didn't delete those other limits, we just got picked up another limit. So you're constantly rolling over your inventory of whatever this can come, the price can come into. So just waiting for them to crush it now. So that was kind of a weird day. Very small body. Market's kind of quiet here. Oh, robot just took a buy signal. It's MACD, or just a moving average crossover. Okay, now they're filling some of my limits. So I would have put limits in this pocket. Okay. So this would have been another place, I think it's obvious, retesting this. So that window there, we cash out of that. Now they just filled some limits. So now we got the big juicy orders down here. All right, that was a great one there. So because that one went back deeper, see how that was the better entry? We got more reaction. Okay, cash out at the end of the hour. Boom, you're out. Now, amazingly, the robot's making money here. It has no stop. It just has that take profit. It's trying to scalp a little bit. Okay, the sellers came in here, so you could have done that trade also, is to... But now you just have to keep taking those short amount of pips. I don't think the market's really got that many great trades in it, typically. But these are high probability trades, you know. So it's kind of a fun game. We expected there to be sellers here, but now this is where they could just crush that, because this vacuum stacked with the one that we left behind here. There's a lot of... Okay, so great. We finally got filled on these buy limits here. And this... So breakout strategies that run on the 1 hour, yeah, those kind of systems get beat up, I think. I guess I like the limit thing because, okay, we cashed out. Now we're going to buy heavy. Now we're really going to buy here, just below this. All right, that's going to be our fat tickets. So this, at the end of the day, coming into the end of US, anything below here. So this is the floor we're underneath, trapped underneath now. And I think it could still keep tanking into Asia, but here's where we cash out. When we get back to this low, you got to get out of something there. Maybe go flat. Now, I'll put the buy limits down into here for another set it, forget it session all day long. May not get filled on that, but that's okay. I just want to take that 4-hour ride, the 8-hour ride, get out, be okay. Let's get in some other psychotic thing. Okay, we're getting filled now. Now have more money in the account. I can put in deeper tickets here, and I'm just buying every time. I'm just buying in these 20 pip pockets, you know, with a 40 pip stop, 30 pip stop, what have you. Cashing out there. New sellers come in. We're getting filled on our limits we left behind now. So they just keep on pumping in the market up and down. It's a sick game, really. Because people think that they're doing it to them, you know. There's no nonsense guy thinks, oh, they're those banks, man, they're out to get you. You see? You got in the market. I don't know. I think the market's just going up and down. I don't think the market knows about you. Now with that 5G, that G5, 5G5, they're watching you. Like Robinacci. Okay, so that was our biggest ticket right there. Right? Built into that is a scalp, and now we're going to buy just tons more. And we're going to make, so when we see it go down 30 pips, we're looking to make 20 on the bounce. Now here's tickets galore filling down here. And it makes you wonder at this point, wow, are they going to make it down to here? And that could actually take that out. This mob of dysfunctional people easily take that out. So we're getting deep fills here at the end of the day. It's a glorious sell-off just before the end of the day. There's all this, because this could be Friday too. It looks like a Friday, like a frantic Friday insanity. No, it's not. Thursday. I suppose that's jobs report or something. We'll pound that. Okay, now here comes Asia. Looking for some kind of retracement. Because I want to take off the position, the heavy side of the position that has the most amount of tickets. I want to get out here to where everything came unwrapped. Okay, so by the time London opens, maybe we're back to here. Okay, so I want to buy more here, and then I want to buy just tons here. So I need at least a 20 pip window. Call Maybelline and have her add some money to the account. All right, so right there, big ass, ripe for the pickings. I don't know if we'll make it there, but we did make it down here. Look at this little cute wick, little notch here. So we went after the kind of just before the close and got this premium price. Take your 10 pips off of that. I was going to take the first 10 pips. Okay, some more punishment. Wow. Yeah, so I'm going to buy this whole plunge. I definitely had to buy. The most I had to buy was when we made the new lows. So this is when people are just like, oh my God, really? It's going down. Yeah, it's a breakout to the downside. You want to get on that train. So that new low, wow, 20 pips there. If you're able to accumulate in this 20 pip window here and just take your 8, 9, 12 pips, constantly be churning those small tickets, the small targets, and then, like I said, this whole up and down thing is tradable. You have 8, 12, 14, 16, 19 pip targets, 20, 22. You're not going to see a 100 pip target. But if you can make money during all this nonsense here, yeah, the big picture is we're going to take out this trend line. And here you could draw the trend line on close, I guess, because, on price, because you're forced to. So you're way out here. It's like every tick. It's like drawing a trend line on a tick chart. So because we don't have closing prices here, we're taking into account every price. Eventually, right, that's the goal. But the first goal has to be to get above this. And now we're creating a triangle. So I would draw these very tight on the current price. Okay, so we finally made it to our target. If we held through this whole thing, just speaking horizontally, okay, target hit. There should be a lot of people cashing out here, all the way to the top of that. So here was the giant pivot, and everybody's aware of this price. This is a huge deal. Cashing out, boom, people are out of that. So that was the big window, and we're banging on the trend line on all prices, which this is what most people draw anyways. So here you just have I am using my indicator on top, which is the price grid and the big fat bars. So if I zoom in, it's a different view here because now you see every bar, but here you kind of see structure. Okay, great sell up there. So above that line, man, people just gobbled that up for the scalp. You could have had a sell up there, but then you might have to get the hell out of the way because this thing going to keep ripping north. There you go. So you don't want to stand in front. So if you were that guy that could have bought this whole plunge, we never made it below this low, but wow. And look at this psychosis. So selling into this window paid big, because that was a very old. And having this buy limit down here, and this is what really chops people to bits. They can't understand what is going on. Why is the market so treacherously up and down here? Look how it come back to retest the breakout of Asia's. Look how it came back and retested that. So the volatility here just destroys people's brains, and they're like, what the fuck just happened? But it makes total sense if you realize the order imbalance that look at sellers here again. So there are plenty of people willing to sell up here. Willing sellers, I guess they call them in that level 2 stuff. Willing buyers, willing sellers. And it just keeps on. I don't think the market can see that trend line, but you can make arguments. And look how they came back and repenetrated the trend line. Trend line's there. It's okay, but now what? What are you doing now? I mean, so people that focus on these elaborate patterns, looking for it to resolve into a certain price, and this is my target, blah, blah, blah. You know, look at all the money being made just from up and down pumping. They just pump and dump and pump this thing. Another pullback. Now that was Asia closing. Sure, plenty easy sells up here for the scalp in a 20 pip window. Put the tickets in there, walk away. It's hard to walk away from it, I guess, if you've got this. You want to see it unfold the way that your analysis told you it was going to unfold. And if you're long, you're probably going to be cashing out into this really tall box, because it goes really far back. And now we've got a vacuum forming underneath. So every time we make a new high, it's a place to say, well, how about we buy down here then? What's wrong with these prices? You know, these are perfectly good prices down here. This one, very much so, because, and of course, this is the big pivot. You know, you could look back, but I think that as we come into this window, this sell window here, this is going to matter now. So all the old stuff way up here is going to matter. And cashing out of the scalps. Anybody that sold into that has to be thinking, let's cash out into this wick top. Boom, they're out. So those guys are like, yeah, whew, that trade's over. Now, we can keep crushing down. And for the guy that's going to trade, he's going to go long for the next 6 hours in a box here. Like, how deep is your entry window? If you're thinking about buying for the next day all the way down here, yeah, those are great prices. I mean, that is a completely legitimate trade plan, because you're buying low. All you're trying to do is buy low, sell high, and you can do that just by placing the orders to buy lower, and the lower you buy, the better the price. So it's a real caveman approach. But if you're buying stuff and you see, okay, there's a pallet of so and so, it's not a full 100 units, but it's cheap. Let me take some of that. So you're doing a little bit of a compromise, but analysts don't want to compromise. They want to be very precise and look at this Gartley and this thing here, and this is what I'm going to do. And so those two worlds don't go together well for making money, because most of the money that could be made isn't being made because people's criteria for entering and exiting the market. So you think that it's more like, how many times can you enter and exit the market, and can you afford to have enough ticket turnover. Because if you do get into some giant position, sure, you're going to have to go underwater for a little bit. Look at this 10 pip bounce here. We just could have taken. Went down, came back up. So now it's just meandering. And the sellers up here are just loving it. They just made like 20, 30 pips off of that. Stupid trade. Just a dumb, easy trade. Plus, you're out, I mean, this is the thing. The market does maneuver and you're cashed out. All right, that's different than this investing mentality of you're holding it. Look at the monthly charts. Don't you see where this is going? I guess I used to care, but I'd rather have the 1 hour, 8 hour. 8 hours is enough. I think that at the end of the day, the spreads are going to turn the shit anyway, so just go flat on everything, win, lose, or draw. Wait till the spreads tighten up. It's going to be a blend. You can get excited about a certain trade, and then I don't know how people are. So the analysis kind of leads you down the road to thinking that this is a better decision because I analyzed it. If you only have one trade with one stop on that one idea, then you're just asking for a lot of things to always line up. So if you have some dumb shit trade plan like, well, I'm just going to buy because it dropped 20 pips this morning. And look at this, you're already back to where you got in here. So if you didn't take profits on that, well, I guess you're fucked. Now you start selling above here and you sell more, and this is always going to be the window. We knew that when the market was down here, we knew that that would be a controversial price up there. Okay, sellers again are winning on that. So looking at this, and this is the 1 hour chart, I'm like, okay, I can see this thing in 8 hours being below here again. I'm still going to leave in those limits. So I could put in buy limits every 50 pips and barely get filled and be a swing trader, or I could put stuff in that's 5 pips deep for 15 minutes. Look at this beautiful rally into the seller's window. Wow, that was an astounding. So that was your perfect trend trade up. Like pulled back, you got in, you ride it up. Oh, and they're selling there. Right at the big round number. Oof. Boy, there's a hot spot. This Forex guy would say it's a hot spot. Oof. Yeah. Everybody got out on that, and everybody went short on that little slice of thin air there. Now they're coming back for more. And that's where you'd have to say, oh, how big was I? Now sell again. Scalp. Oh, cashing out. Sell. Now look at the end of the hour there. Mountain, more selling. Now this is where it's scary, because if this up here happens to be going back years, it's nuts. But hey, look at the sellers won. They just cashed out. They just scalped to that 10 pips. They just took 10 pips off of that. Zoom in for a little more a zoomed in view. Okay. Wow. Now here's where it's scary if you're watching this happen, but if you just had your sell limits in there, with your predetermined, there you go. So we know this vacuum to the left of us goes back, and wow, that's psychosis there. But it's the end of the day's coming. See, you got to have some deep pockets here. We don't know how far that could go up. But we know that's going to be every hour that goes up, you need to sell with a 50 pip stop. Now the market's asking for wide stops. Limits all the way up there. Okay, we just took 10 pips off the table. If we sold every 10 pips, now we just took 20 almost off the table. Still underwater. If we start selling into this whole thing, and if we sold every hour, still the ones we sold on the hour, we're up on those too. 10 pip stops, pretty tight. So here's some more buying coming to Asia. Here's where I would really start selling heavily here now. That's pretty obvious. This is going to be a heavy sell window here for all next day. And all the people that sold or just can't wait for it to come back to here so they can start cashing out. And I put buy limits in here so I'd get the revolving door thing going here. So I think these are all great prices. Right, here's going to be just a crazy good buying opportunity. So this, if we plunge here, okay, selling into that again. Another 30 pips. And everybody's making these, all the channel guys are probably looking at this and saying, well, yeah, it's going up this channel. Can't you see? Okay, well, when's that going to end? All right. So their scalpers took their 20 pips off the top of that. Now here comes the new buying, supposedly, right? Breakouts. Looks like the contrarians kicked their ass. So this is the day of, wow, London opens or U.S. opens here. Crushed. 30 pips off that top, and the deep pocket people that are still short from down here are like, yeah, wait till it comes back here, we'll get out of those. We'll take that off the table when we come back to that. All right, this is the big. So that was an amazing 30, 40 pips there. So what good did the channel do for you? Well, okay, it's failing to hit the top of the channel, so divergence from the edge of the channel. I guess you should have sold the last swing high there. Okay, more buy limits now. To me, I'd sit back and go, yeah, come on, baby, bring it. I don't have to be short from that to take advantage of the... Those are all my tickets stacked up now. Every day's a carnival. All right. How'd that work out? This guy here's up 50 pips on that trade on selling that top of that. And I just went long here in this pocket on something. Good trade for me too. Okay, so it's just strategy tester. You go to view. Unless you want to. It's like playing scales on a guitar here. Go to view and go to L strategy tester, hit down Control R. And then you can plan out your trades using the famous MACD here. Man, look at the pile up there. Wow, came all the way back to that trade. Look at that, came all the way back to the starting gate there. You can't see it on here, but wow, look at that. Oof. Big controversy up here. Everything above this price is like the biggest deal in the world. Everybody's eager to pound into the north. But that's okay, because I'm a seller up there. See, there's never a problem with this style of trading. It's like, if it goes up, you're a seller. If it goes down, you're a buyer. It's just that when you see these voids on the left side of you. Everything above here. Yeah, this could be a psycho ward up here, so it could just go screaming up. And I don't know if this is the, like if you're watching this during the elections, they'd be blowing up all your tickets, right? If you had too tight a stop and if your stop's too wide, you couldn't withstand all the drama here. Okay, here comes the next day. I will be a buyer below here now, but all the way down actually. Okay, there's Asia. There's a little breakout to the upside. Now we want to sell new highs. You gotta be careful. I would start selling heavier here, just because it's higher. Nothing really to look to the left to hang that off of, but it wouldn't matter. Like I said, it's as stupid as selling high, buying low. Here's a nice buy zone. If we take out Asian low, I buy here. But I do think we're going to try to take out this high and go ripping. It could be psychotic to the upside. Looks like these guys didn't wait for that. They sold that. They made 10 pips off of that. So whether we buy or sell, I got these, I would say, drawn in to be like all day long tickets. But they could be very short. You could just do stuff like, for the next 2 hours, I'm going to buy like this. It's like a 4-hour buy limit. Right? It's got a poke down here. If it takes too long to get there, the tickets are gone. There's no exposure. Okay, I'm selling it this one. See what happens. Okay, that's the first sellers. They scalped their first 5 pips off of that. Is that going to be the reversal to end all reversals? Okay, more brave souls. Now, people will sell at the 100 around there, I'm sure. Oh, nice scalp. So they did some good work on there. Your 10 pip stops just made you 20 there. Fantastic. So it seems like, wow, that thing's going to go to the moon. Yeah, okay. And see how they just grabbed that? People are up 40 pips selling the high of the previous day on that. This happens every day. Not every day, but this happens. These kind of setups, I just got filled on my buy limit there. Okay, 20 pips up. There's going to be crazy selling up here. And also, those tickets, if you left them behind, you're just getting filled on those now. Wow. U.S. market's open. Amazing reversals. I think this just proves reversals do happen. The market does go up and down. You can't make money from... Look at these guys cleaning up on those sells right now. Oh my lord. Wow. Nice. Whew. Still got buys down here though, you know. Now look at this view here. So this gives you 10 days of history and planning out all these trades every day or once a week. I mean, if this was a 4-hour chart, you can see that if it was a 4-hour chart, it'd be like, okay, probably won't get filled for the next 12 hours. But the wicks aren't as prominent. You know, the wicks are better here because you can see, look at, I can make 1 hour, I can make 40 pips in 1 hour. It's realistic. And the whipsaw here on the 1 hour looks so vicious, you know. On the 4 hour, wouldn't look so. Look at this thing all the way back, coming into buy limits. Look at that all the way back. This is always a good place to buy. They're scalped. 5 pips off of that. Pretty silly. People put so much work into this stuff. Look, you're long now. I just buy tons down here. Oh my god. Look at the supply zone down here. Come on. Look at this thing. Are you serious? Ah. Man, who has to be there for that trade? Wow. Oh, there you just made 10. 8 pips. Come down for another plunge. Oh, yeah. That's a good day of trading there. Man, look at that thing. If you're short from the top of that, how do you feel now? You're up fucking 80 pips without any algorithms. Well, that's kind of a heartbreaker. All that time I spent building all those algorithms. Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, I don't think any EA could outtrade just plain old logic and reason. Of course, that's been kind of erased, I suppose. I mean, people are like freaking out and closing this and opening and no, somebody's got the virus. I'm like, you really have lost your mind. You're looking at a 3-minute chart. Meanwhile, you get a 20 pip spread and you're on a 3-minute chart. Wow, look at that. So holding through this low here, this is the floor. This is the trap to the downside. Is it not? This is the big trap people fell into. And people scalped the floor. Okay, new sellers. I'm gonna buy here, buy all the way down, just for the bounce. So my targets are pretty tight. 8 all the way to 30, 40 pips. I probably won't see, like if I sold up here, when it gets to here, I think I'd be out of that. I'd rather start buying here. So I'm long now. And then we cash out here. So if it comes back to this, I get out. Oh, that kind of nonsense. Here's the new floor. Since the market has punched prices through this, that's kind of just been hit and taken care of. I don't think that's a factor now. I think this is the new resistance. And all the buyers here are holding. The new buyers for that last punch where they just kind of nicked through Asia's low there. So that's a common kind of behavior that you'll get this psycho 1 hour wick and it'll punch down and hit the this Asian low, just nick it and then pop it up. Now I'm going to cash out of everything I bought because I'm underwater just like the big banks. I bought this plunge zone here. Let's cash out here, go flat, then come in with limits again, and then sell limits here. So this is a bridge too far. I mean, when you put your sell limits here and you got filled and you cashed out and then you left behind your more sell limits, these became the bigger winners. It's just amazing that if you situate yourself with limits, then the whipsaw is your friend. The whipsaw is making you money because as it whips up and down, it's cash. It's going into your limit grids. So it's going to be a crazy week coming in here. So we do the same thing next week. We're just going to keep dropping limits out in front. Trying to get picked up on stuff here. Look at These buy limits are still good. Look at that. Look at that. Cash out. Boom. Nice. Now that's when it pays the rent. That is under 1 hour, that trade. Into the cells. More crazy. Now, can they take out the high of the... would you sell up into that? Sure, why not? Boom. You're out. So you just made 20 pips on that whole sell bank. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Fast market. Tagging more sells. Coming into the end of the day, can we just get above here so all the big sell tickets get triggered? Selling every 10 pips into the close of the day. Scalpers are taking their first 10 pips off of that very tippy top. This is another trade that kind of freaks people out. Maybe they bought no nonsense style. So right here they had ultimate confirmation that they're in a bullish move. They've taken out this high, and then they get in and they're like, oh, look at this, we're up. And then all of a sudden, you know, they move their stops to here, and then this day comes along and they're like, what the fuck? And then they see the market up here and they go, oh, those fucking bastards. No nonsense was right. They really are out to get me. Those motherfuckers. I can't believe it. Look at this 20 pips this guy just made off that selling that top. Ooh, it's a cruel game. 20 pips, he's up on that. Oh, at the end of the hour, it's pretty tough, man. It's a tough game when you're waiting for confirmation. She looks like she was okay. Oh, sorry, lady boy. You lose. So, all right. So, back to my strategy of taking another nap.